Hey guys, M2 Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Spider-Man Retro Collection Target exclusive Cyborg Spider-Man. I want to give a big shout out to Pay's son on Instagram, link in the video description below. I gave him a heads up that it was at a fairly local Target store that had the first store to get it. He went over there and grabbed one for me and shipped out right away, so I really appreciate you. I know it's a late review, but the damn Stiltman wave had come in and all these other figures were coming. So here is the Cyborg Spider-Man figure finally, but it looks really awesome. I really like it. I actually had this figure in the old Toy Biz version for when the cartoon came out, the animated series line. I had it. It wasn't my favorite action figure, but I definitely enjoyed it. You know, the black suit Spider-Man symbiote Spider-Man figure was my favorite of those out of that entire line, where it had like the piece on his chest came out like the web. That was my all-time favorite figure out of that line, but this one was still a very good one, and one that I was happy to have, and one that I'm very pleased to have now in 6-inch action figure form. So here we see cybernetic enhancements. We got it comes with one extra hand. Comes with the web accessory there. Looking at the back of the card, we get that kind of image of Cyborg Spider-Man. If you've watched Marvel 616 on Disney Plus, you would see some behind the scenes of when they were actually working on this figure, Dwight Stahl and some of the other Hasbro crew. So that was actually pretty cool to see some of that behind the scenes kind of stuff. The bio for Cyborg Spider-Man reads, Cyborg Spider-Man has enhanced cybernetic capabilities in addition to all the powers of Earth 616. Spider-Man, web slinging, wall crawling, heightened spider senses. Villains are no match for the Spidey's advanced cyborg technology. That's a bit much. There it is. Let's open it up. Okay, so here is the Cyborg Spider-Man figure out of the package, and he is a pretty good one. Now, I know a lot of people, when it was first announced, were really complaining, along with the Negative Zone Spider-Man. It's like, why did they use old body molds for these figures when they have the Retro Spider-Man one already made? I think the short answer is money. And then the longer answer is, based on cost of production, cost of new tooling for those new parts versus parts that may be semi-readily available, even though they have to pay for them. It's not as high cost, blah, 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 yada, yada. That's probably what I'm going with. Now, I don't mind that this figure is not using that new retro Spider-Man body mold with the diaphragm joint and the inverted ab crunch. I don't mind that this new one's not. I just don't. I don't think it's necessary for every single one. Yes, it's Spider-Man, so he should be able to move around and have more articulation points and everything like that. But for this particular version of Spider-Man, I just really don't mind it. The figure execution, paint apps and everything like that is good so I'm not too concerned about it. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, was that a deal breaker for you on this figure? But let's zoom in and take a closer look at the figure, and then we'll take a closer look at the Lonely 2 accessories that he comes with. Okay, accessories, he has just one extra fist for his right hand. Out of the package, he comes with a thwipping hand, and then we have this web line accessory piece that we've seen used multiple times. I think House of M, Spider-Man was the first one to kind of bring it back. This was used, I think, for the first time, and I could be wrong on this, in a Walmart exclusive Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales figure that came out around the time of the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, when they had the 2 or 3 movie figures. One was Lizard, one was Spider-Man, and then there was the other one that had the unmasked Andrew Garfield head with the skateboard and stuff. This webline came with that Miles Morales figure, which I used to have once upon a time, and then I no longer have it. I no longer needed it. But looking at the Cyborg Spider-Man, there's some really good things that's going on here. So the head sculpt is 100% new. Of course, they weren't going to be able to use another head. We get the white bandana there. We get that cyborg eye type thing over there. We get some stitched on parts to the mask. So it's unfortunate that there was no paint apps that they could do on there. I'm not sure what else they could have done, if they would have done black lines, and then I'm not sure how that would have ended up looking, if it would have just stood out a little bit too much. But looking at the sculpt of it, it actually goes throughout the top of his head, kind of towards the back. The strap for that eyepiece is brown, and it does go around the figure, so they didn't skimp out on the paint there. So the head sculpt, I think, looks really good. I really like it. Another thing I really like is that spider logo there on his chest. I really like the design of that one. Came out looking really good. If you watched Marvel 616 on the the prototype that they were doing, they applied a sticker to it. So it's just kind of interesting to really get that behind the scenes. So that was really cool. The web lines throughout the figure look really good. Looking at the back, One of the things that's really noticeable though is the legs to this spider on his back. Looks like it's only one coat of that red paint, which kind of the blue really kind of bleeds through. So that's just not the greatest. So another hit of paint would have gone a really long way. Then it looks like there's some sloppiness right on the back of this butterfly joint where the red and the blue meet, but it's on the back, so it's not too noticeable, so not anything that's really going to bother me. And the belt is all yellow. We got some pouches, but no painted on colors for any of the pouches or anything like that. We get this leg wrap there that's white, and that's just kind of a floating piece that's just hanging there. Web lines all look good throughout. Looking at the arm, I believe this arm is new. I don't think it's been reused anywhere. One of the things that I don't like about it though is we get that cheap ass gray silver plastic that we always get on a lot of weapons that I'm always complaining about because I think it looks like shit. I wish they would have gone with some actual paint or like the same color as the Deathlock arm and legs. That would have been fantastic if they did that, but no, we get the cheap looking, it's damn near translucent almost. I really don't like it. So they dropped the ball hard there. And look at that, the web, I guess this would be his web shooter, right? They painted that silver. Why didn't they just do the whole damn arm and hand? They did just that little wrist piece there. So, you know, what the hell? And it's not even a floating piece. It's part of the mold. It's sculpted on there. Maybe it's not. Yeah, no, it's part of the mold. It's sculpted on there. They painted it. They should have just done the whole damn arm. You know, like this shoulder piece here. This is actually painted. That's not the same color. As you can see, they didn't paint those little square pieces in there. It just would have looked so much better had they painted and used silver instead of the cheap ass gray plastic that I absolutely hate, and they keep doing it. It's one thing on weapons, but it's a whole other thing when it's a damn body part to the figure, so that's kind of tough. But let's zoom out for the articulation. Okay, so one thing to note on my Cyborg Spider-Man, he's a little wobbly in some parts. So this leg is pretty damn loose, so that causes a little bit of wobbliness going on in the figure. So that's a little unfortunate there. I'm sure that's not going to be a problem on all of them, but I'm sure there will be a fair few that may suffer from the same problem as mine. So looking at the articulation, the head, he can look all the way down, which is fantastic. He can look all the way up, which is great. So there's no issues there. We get some pivot going on in there, and then of course you get the full rotation. Looking at the arms, you can get the arm to go up that high on his right arm. The left arm is going to be a little tricky because you'd think maybe you can kind of work it out and get it underneath the shoulder and stuff. No, that's the most you're going to get out of it. There, you get a full rotation. It is a little bit tight in there, but that is all you're going to get, because what's going to happen is this shoulder plate here is going to hit with the shoulder over here on the butterfly joint, so it won't go up any more than that. You do have an upper bicep swivel there, and you can get a full rotation in there, so that's pretty good. You get a double jointed elbow, which doesn't work out the best. Oh, there it goes. You just have to work this one here, so you can get more than a 90 degree. The bicep on this one's quite large because it has kind of these little canister looking things on there, so couldn't get a whole lot, but you actually do. At least I didn't think you'd be able to get a whole lot, but you do. Wrist swivel and they hinge. They both have the same hinge. So this is the older, all new, all different Spider-Man 2099 body mold. So we get an ab crunch there, no diaphragm joint. He can crunch down forward that much. He can go back that much, and they did keep the web line paint going on throughout, so that is good. We have a waist swivel in there, so he could turn. Legs go out that far apart, which is great. He can kick forward straight out that high, and then you can kind of work it out to the side like so. He does have an upper thigh cut, double jointed knee like so. Calf swivel right at the top of the red boot. Foot hinges all the way down. We get a solid hinge up, ankle pivot, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So I still really like this body mold. It's probably my favorite, next to that retro Spider-Man, of course, because obviously that one is by far the superior body, but it uses a lot of the exact same parts. The only difference is going to be the torso. The arms are going to be the same. The legs are going to be the same. It's just the torso that's different. So this is my second favorite body mold, so we get a lot of good articulation out of it. So that's why I don't mind it nearly as much. Had we gotten Cyborg Spider-Man on like the Pizza Spider-Man body, then it would have been bad, because this one's just too damn thin. But there it is. You guys let me know what you think of the articulation. Okay, so here is the Cyborg Spider-Man next to the Negative Zone Spider-Man, which are both Target exclusive that have released officially now at the same time as the Retro X-Men Gambit and Rogue figures, which I do not have right here in front of me. I don't even know where I put those things. But there they are, the two Spider-Man ones. Now, Retro Waves and Lines, the subline, has been going absolutely bonkers this year, just like Cyborg Spider-Man not being able to stand up. But the Retro line has just been picking up so much steam, and the Spider-Man line has just had so many figures. It's ridiculous. So in addition to these two, we also had that fan channel exclusive Mysterio. We had the fan channel exclusive Kingpin, and then of course the fan channel exclusive Black Cat that was just recently released, and the fan channel exclusive J. Jonah Jameson that has been released. So there are the latest in the Spider-Man retro figures. Will we see more? I don't know. I kind of hope so. I would like to see as many as Hasbro will possibly give us. There's a new Marvel Legends Fan First Friday event on December 4th. Maybe they will announce something. Maybe they won't. I have no idea. I wish I did know. Oh, well, you know what? Firestar, we think, speculation is that she will be on that same card. So we could be getting at least one more, but I know a lot of folks are saying they would love to see a Lizard figure on that card, or they would love to see a Rhino figure on that card. I would as well. They can literally put any character on those cards, and I would be very happy with it because those cards get me every single time. So bring it on, Hasbro. Give us more. Okay, so my final thoughts on the Cyborg Spider-Man figure. It's nice to see that we're getting some of these older 90s designs from the animated series, you know, that line of Toy Biz figures. I absolutely, and I can't believe it hasn't happened yet, the Spider-Man armor, the black and silver or black and chrome one. Why on earth we haven't gotten that figure yet, I have no idea. Hasbro needs to get on that ASAP, and I fully expect them to do that now that we have this Cyborg Spider-Man. I think the retro subline is going really, really well, especially this past year. I want to see more, and I hope it does continue. You know, a lot of them are reissues or repaints. I don't mind it. Usually there's enough differences that I'm very pleased with it, but I love the carded look. I hang them up all on my wall, so I wouldn't mind getting as many as they give us. So Hasbro, give us more, please. But that is my review on the Cyborg Spider-Man. I think it's a must-buy, especially right now with the sale of buy two, get one free. Hopefully you have gotten it already. If not, you guys let me know down in the comments below why you're passing on it. I think it's a really good figure, but you guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.